Hey guys, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Saturday video report. In Friday's report, I told you how I was flying home on Thursday, logged online at about 30,000 feet. Happened to see that my play on Tampa Bay was down by 273 points in the first quarter against New England. Didn't make for a happy trip. I immediately turned it off and started watching some stuff on Netflix. Of course, getting home last night, it was nice to be home for the first time in like 28 days. It was even nicer, though, when I cashed right back with another 15-dime winner in the NFL preseason with the Miami Dolphins, laying the 6 points. I thought the odds makers were trying to trap you, to lure you into taking Carolina based on Cam Newton's performance in their season opener, a game in which I had Carolina against the Giants last Saturday. But I told you Miami was the way to go. I said the Dolphins would win by 14 covering the spread. They were up 20-0 going into the fourth quarter. Did win at 20-10. Okay, so they didn't win by 14, they won by 10. The most important number here, though, is that they covered the 6, and that's all that matters for you and me. And the NFL preseason record is now 5-1. 4-1 with those 15-dime releases. And again, a 15-dime play doesn't sound like a lot, guys, but for me it is, because 99% of my plays are rated between 5 and 15 dimes. So overall, 5-1 in the NFL preseason, including 4-1 with 15-dime releases. And guys, I've got another one going today. It's every bit as strong as Miami was last night. And I feel that this particular team here tonight will cover the spread in a 14-point victory. That's how easy I think the win will be here. I think, again, these numbers that you are seeing, as I have maintained steadily here for the past 2 weeks, are not that sharp. The odds makers in week number 1 really had no clue what was going on, no more clue than you or I. And as I've always told you, preseason football is all about information. Now, there's no such thing in this business as inside information. I'm talking about information that you can gather. Everybody can do it if you have hours a day to spend online. The playing rotations, who's going to relieve who at quarterback, which starters are going to play for how long, which starters are going to be in the lineup, period, based on injuries, which teams want to go for the win, which teams just want to evaluate personnel in terms of the coaching philosophies. These are the things, the information I'm talking about that's so crucial to win in preseason. Well, in week number 1, I thought the lines were just horrendous, and you saw I went 4-0 with them. In week number 2, now what you're seeing, and again, this is really based a lot on the NFL work stoppage, because the odds makers, just like the public, just like the fans, just like most handicappers, haven't had a chance to hear about how so-and-so has done on the first or second team during all the off-season training camp and mini get-togethers, etc. These teams have had 12 to 15 practice sessions since the work stoppage ended going into their second week of game. Many of them only 10 or 11 practices. So again, this week you're seeing overreaction numbers, where the odds makers are setting numbers based on what happened in week number 1. But think about it, guys. We all know week number 1 is meaningless. It's as meaningless in terms of preseason play as an exhibition baseball game is in the Cactus League in the month of March. So again, the numbers aren't necessarily sharp here either. They're soft. I guess you could really use that as a proper term, and I've certainly taken advantage of it. So today, another 15-dime play. I'm on a 15-7 run with 15-dime releases in football and baseball over the past 4 weeks. Overall record, past 57 days. It's been a great run. 58-39-1, the overall record. NFL runs, guys, FYI, over the past 4 years, my record is 88-68-5 for 316 dimes of net profit, again, with 99% of those plays on a 5 to 15 dime basis, and a 15 dime going tonight. These 15 dime NFL releases, 4-1 so far this preseason, 37-21-2 with them over the past 4 years combined. Now, that's what I've got going tonight. Last night, I also gave you a free winner. 2 free winners, in fact, on the video report, as I gave you the Tigers in baseball over the Indians, and I gave you the Detroit Lions. And it was interesting, I told you that I really liked the Lions last night, but the one thing that prevented me from using them as the best bet, as a game that I would personally play and tell you to play last night, was the fact that I read just one little comment after about an hour of research on that game last night with the Cleveland Browns, where Jim Schwartz, the Detroit Lions coach, was saying, he really wasn't caring so much about the result of the game. He was looking at the game as another chance to further evaluate the talent on his roster. That was the red flag that I needed to get me off the game. Now, true, The Lions did come back and win and cover that game, winning it outright as a road dog. But, they had to score 10 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to do so. I would much rather be up 20 going in the fourth quarter than down 10. You know what I mean, guys? So anyway, coming up in a moment, I'm going to have free plays on the Saints and the Texans. I just had a 15-dime play, in fact, on the Texans on Monday night. They rallied in the final 2 minutes to beat the Jets, and I had a 5-dime winner on New Orleans over San Francisco last Saturday, or last Friday that was. So I'll have a preview of that game, plus another free baseball selection coming up as well. Let me give you a money-saving discount coupon code, guys. Listen, you can save $20 off of any single purchase you make today simply by entering this coupon code when prompted in the shopping cart. It is COMPUTER20. No space between the word computer and the number 20, COMPUTER, and the number 20, COMPUTER20, all together now. Sounds like a Mitch Miller sing-along, huh? God, Mitch, listen, I wasn't alive when Mitch Miller was popular, so, this is a pop culture reference for those of you that are much older than me, probably. Anyway, COMPUTER20, that is the code to go ahead and enter there, and that'll save you $20 off of any purchase you make today. Hey, a couple other handicappers. I want to send out quick congratulations to Trace Adams. 3-0 sweep last night. 1,500-star winner number 8 out of 11. Cashing with the Tampa Bay Rays. Also a 500-star play on the Lions-Browns. Going over a 500-star winner on the Yankees on the run line. He's now won 21 of the last 32 days. And a $1 better has won over $24,600 the last 2 months betting Trace's action. Yes, in a 67-day period, a $1 better, $1 per unit he's released, has won over $24,000 in the past 2 months. Also want to point out that Scott Delaney, 2-0 sweep last night, big 50-dime play. He was also on the Tampa Bay Rays. Also had a 5-dime winner on the Ravens, a $10 player following Scott Delaney's betting advice now. He's won quite a bit of money, $9,230 to be exact over the past 4.5 months, $5,915 in baseball alone this season. So kudos to him. But I always tell you the good with the bad. The bad is that Derek Mancini, who last night had the first ever 40-dime release of his career, loser. Jacksonville Jaguars did not get the job done. And that brings me to, before I get to your free picks, let me just talk about how the preseason is played out from a statistical standpoint. I've always said that if you had this magical crystal ball and you could simply pick the straight-up winners of every game in the preseason, you, me, and the rest of the world, we'd be absolute millionaires. I mean, it's uncanny. Straight-up winners the last 2 years in preseason football. The straight-up winner has covered at over a 95% clip. Nothing different this time around either, guys. Last week, the straight-up winners went 15-1 against the spread. The only loser, the Cowboys, failing to get the job done at home against Denver. This week so far, straight-up winners are 7-1 against the spread. And you guessed it. Who was the lone loser? Well, Derek Mancini can tell you it was the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. Home teams, 4-4 against the spread so far this week after going 11-5 versus the oddsmakers last week. Favorites, 5 out of 8 games they have covered so far this week after going 12-4 a week ago. So those are the numbers for you. Now, let's get to the free picks for you. First free pick, let's talk about the NFL game, right? Might as well go there first. New Orleans, a slight road favorite over Houston. Listen, I am very grateful that I won with the Houston Texans on Monday night as a 15-dime play, but you would know as well as I do that I was darn lucky to win that game, and the Jets really were in a position to win it right back after allowing Houston to score right after the 2-minute warning expired. The Jets, one of the receivers dropped a potential touchdown pass in the end zone. So I'm going to go with New Orleans here tonight. The Saints, a 24-3 victory over San Francisco. An impressive defensive performance for the Saints in that one, but offensively, nothing really clicked with Drew Brees in there. The first team who was playing with Brees a couple of series, who went 1 for 6 for just 6 yards. They had no first downs, the first teamers, in 3 series in that contest. Chase Daniel, which was the reason I backed the Saints last week as a small 5-dime play against the Niners in that 24-3 victory, came off the bench and played well as expected, completing 13 of 21 passes for 129 yards and led 3 scoring drives. Now, the running backs really played well last week. Mark Ingram, the Heisman Trophy winner, 6 carries, 23 yards. Chris Taylor, 9 carries, 39 yards. I mean, they really produced, even though Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles only combined for 9 yards and 5 carries. Well, this week you're going to see Brees and most of the starters probably play somewhere into the second quarter as they're looking to get a rhythm going offensively. Now, the Saints do have a number of defensive injuries, especially a cornerback. But what I liked last week is that, the defense under Greg Williams' tutelage, they unleashed the pass rush against the 49ers, 6 quarterback sacks. In fact, Greg Williams called 18 blitzes in the first half, or in that contest. 18 blitzes, and they had those 6 sacks in the first half. Well, the defense played okay, but it was the 49ers as the opponent, holding them to 10 first downs and 234 yards total, 3 for 16 on third down conversions. Now, the Texans have a disadvantage here. They have a short week of preparation. And when you've had a short off season, that just makes things work. You've had 2.5 days of practice to turn around from the Monday night game to prepare for this game. So even though you're playing at home, you're still at a disadvantage. They had 7 sacks against the Jets last week, but let's face it, Mark Sanchez, when he was in there, looked fantastic. It was against the rookie Greg McElroy out of Alabama, or McElroy, where they really did their damage in that contest. They have a new 3-4 scheme being installed by Wade Phillips, so they've got a lot of practice time that they have lost out as well. When these teams are converting defensive and offensive schemes, it hurts not having all the extra practice time you normally would have had. And they have some injuries as well. The linebacker, D'Amico Ryans, is out. The big acquisition they had at cornerback to bolster that secondary, Jonathan Joseph, he's questionable for the game. The good news is that Arian Foster and Ben Tate are expected to be available here for ground game duties tonight after missing last week's game. Matt Schaub, no rhythm last week in just a series, 2 for 5, 20 yards. He's expected to play most of the first half. Matt Leinart to follow him, then by TJ Yates. Of course, Leinart played very well, 8 for 18, 78 yards, and a touchdown in relief of Schaub last week, and he was one of the reasons I took the Texans. But all things being considered, I still think the Saints are the play in this game on the road. Laying the points is I think they win this one by 4 to 6 points. So I'll take them. And then over in baseball, I'm going to go with the San Diego Padres, guys. It's about a 135 favorite at home against the Florida Marlins, who they beat 4-3 last night, 3-1 on Thursday. They've won 5 straight in the series, outscoring the Marlins 30-10 in the process. Clay Hensley, a former Padre, making the start for the Marlins tonight. He's lost his last 4 starts. He's 0-2 with an earned run average of 5.86 since entering the starting rotation. Aaron Harang, 6-1 in his last 10 starts despite a 4.08 ERA. The reason why? Well, the Padres give him plenty of offensive support. They've scored 53 runs in his last 6 games. 6 times in those 10 starts, they've scored 6 runs or more. He's got a 3.70 earned run average at Petco Park. Mike Stanton questionable for starting today for Florida, which really cripples their lineup even more because of a toe injury that limited the pinch hitting duties last night. So I'm going to go with the Padres as the home chalk as they make it 6 straight wins over the Marlins, who have lost 13 of their last 15, including 3 in a row. So those are your freebies. Once again, you've got the discount coupon code. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Sunday morning.